What's going on here? The Starship production line is coming together fast. More intriguing looking parts spotted at Starbase, Psyche launch is back on track, and my name is Felix. Welcome to What About It? Stay tuned and let's dive right in. Starship updates. Welcome back to Starbase. Another few days have passed and the progress has been staggering again. Workers are upgrading the orbital tank farm, the last 20 series ship was finished, and the Star Factory expansion has started. Let's kick things off this time at the orbital tank farm. Remember our last visit here when I revealed what magic the workers were using to iron out the dents in the tanks? Well, the crew's been busy with some more pulling, but here's the kicker. They've also welded new reinforcements, ensuring these tanks stand strong for the next launch attempt. Even though the orbital tank farm has many battle scars, there is no cause for alarm. After all, these are just the ground support equipment tank shells. They were designed to protect the real tanks on the inside. Did you know that the current flurry of activity is merely a temporary affair, since these tanks are earmarked for replacement in a few months anyway? Instead, new foundations are being set up adjacent to the methane side of the ground support equipment. Their mission? To accommodate more horizontal tanks. These vessels will not only be easier to maintain, being off-the-shelf commercial tanks, but also, unlike their vertically aligned custom-built by SpaceX cousins, they will be low profile. Meaning that shielding them will be a breeze, and believe me, shielding will be needed, especially if the next couple of flights decide to make a big scene similarly to the first one. There's also a beehive of activity right by Highway 4, where workers are putting together some intriguing looking pipes. A connection is being made. Given their location, they are likely to be associated with the orbital tank farm itself. Perhaps they will be used to offload the fuel from tankers, or maybe they have a role to play with the orbital launch mount? What's your take? Please let me know in the comments. Now shift your gaze behind the tanks and behold the majestic orbital launch integration tower. One thing you'll notice is the absence of the QD plate on the ship quick disconnect arm. It was dismantled a while back, likely for some repair work, but it's never been seen since. Vanished. And the booster quick disconnect arm seems to have joined the same club, with its shielding and internal components given a timeout a few weeks ago. We're awaiting their return and installation patiently. Same story with the new hold-down clamps, still in line for installation. With each passing day, Elon's promise of having everything ship-shape by the end of June looks increasingly like a long shot. But credit where it's due, the progress here is nothing short of spectacular. Under the cloak of nightfall, a gigantic Y-shaped pipe journeyed from the Sanchez site to the launch complex. That might be a good beginning for my memoirs. Given its sizable diameter, it's a safe bet that it'll join the water deluge system. We'll need to wait for the next aerial reconnaissance by RGV to pinpoint its exact destination. But the fact that it moved at all could very well signal that the rest of the system is preparing to make the trip in the coming days. Now let's shift our attention to test pads A and B, the seasoned veterans of cryogenic tests and static fire attempts. Follow me, let's unravel what's changed since the last episode. Over here at Pad B, the latest orbital Starship, Ship 25, has been sitting around for some time now. But as of June 7th, it was unhooked from the LR11000 crane, implying the completion of the required work and pointing to a static fire test on the horizon. It's action time again, that's why we're watching them, Raptor roar, and a future outlook for space travel that couldn't be more futuristic. As soon as we have solid information, you'll get the test dates from me, subscribe and you won't miss it either. Just a quick jaunt 5 minutes down the road and you'll stumble upon the build site, a hive of activity in recent times. Let's first cast our eyes on the imposing high bay. To the right, behold Ship 28, a marvel pieced together some time back and now receiving the finishing touches, gearing up for a series of cryogenic pressure tests. More action incoming. To the left, you will find Ship 29. As of June 7th, its upper sections were merged with the aft section, marking the completion of hull assembly for this prototype. That is not to say it's ready to roll just yet. There's plenty more work to be done, aft flaps are yet to be mounted, not to mention the installation of avionics, cables, plumbing and other internal components concealed from our view. This also signals a generational shift of some sort. This is the last ship from the 20s series. Time is flying when you're having fun. It's mind-blowing to look back on the journey since the Mark I prototypes. Just 4 short years and we're already eyeing ships bearing the 30+ tag. Who can guess the prototype number we'll be staring at in another 4 years? Ship 100, ship 500 or an insane 1000? Only time will tell. Gwyn Shotwell once confirmed my speculation that the Starbase Star Factory should be able to punch out 3 ships per week when fully operational. For now, it looks like SpaceX has already built a ton of parts for future prototypes. Over recent days, 5 nose cones from ship 30 through ship 37 were rolled out of production tent number 3. The fascinating part? No nose cones remain in this building, sparking speculation that this tent may soon be dismantled as the Star Factory spreads its wings. Our Starbase correspondent, the steely-eyed missile man and YCAM operator chief, has captured something truly riveting. The first few pillars of the Star Factory have been erected, signaling the launch of the Starbase expansion phase. Do you remember from our earlier episodes that this colossal structure is set to engulf the surrounding area, including the production tents? This mammoth factory will accelerate prototype production to new levels, with weather and contamination no longer being a concern. To make way for the expanding factory, a few structures had to bite the dust. As you're probably well aware, the low bay and the propulsion building vanished in the blink of an eye, while the ground fabrication building is still standing tall, at least what remains of it. Given the current dismantling pace, this structure should be history within the week. Let's pack our gear and go further up the road. Welcome to the Sanchez site, a place that's been quite the hotbed of activity lately. You're probably well acquainted with the pre-assembled segments of the second megabay, prominent fixtures of this site if you are a regular Y watcher. Let me recap. Just last week, 2 such sections were transported to the build site, while the construction of the 3rd level is well underway. Adjacent to them, you'll spot the water-cooled steel plates, engineered to shield the orbital launch mount from the fiery onslaught of 33 Raptor engines. Right next to them, you'll find a host of deluge pipes, including the Y-shaped one that was recently moved down to the pads. Did you know that these components are only part of the puzzle for the water-cooled steel plate assembly? Well, let me introduce you to the inventory tent. A flurry of activities unfolds within these walls, but our primary interest lies in the deluge assembly. Components have been delivered and welded together here as depicted in photographs shot through the entrance. Take a look at the back wall of this tent. You'll notice some of its panels are being stripped away. Given SpaceX's recent track record of deconstruction, this doesn't come as a shock, but it might not be for the reason you're imagining right now. Our hypothesis is that this tent isn't being fully disassembled. More likely, once the water-cooled steel plate parts were welded together, they grew big. Too big to fit through the door. So what do? Right, you build a bigger door. Our expectation here is the creation of a massive hangar-style door that will allow these assembled sections to roll out directly onto Highway 4. So what are we all waiting for? Right, we want SpaceX to put it all together. I can't wait until these plates get installed. It'll give us valuable insights into its workings and the whole launch table will look so shiny and professional. Let the next phase commence. There are additional elements at Sanchez that you should take a closer look at. Next to the water-cooled steel plate components, there's a ramp under construction. Now, before you scream flame deflector, listen to this. Its exact purpose remains shrouded in mystery for now. Possibly it could be covered in thick steel plates and positioned near the orbital launch mount, serving not as a flame deflector but as a plume diverter, preventing the creation of a dust cloud, something SpaceX was harshly critiqued for following that first concrete tornado launch. But let's think a little further. Alternatively, this could be a component of a diverter system for a suborbital launch pad, with a steel or concrete pad beneath the stand itself and protective ramps encircling it to deter debris from plummeting onto the tank farm. Very important, don't get the pitchforks out. Instead, feel free to share your ideas down below. Let's figure it out together as we always do here at Why. Lastly, let's swing by the Massey's test site, nestled a mere 9 kilometers or 5.6 miles from the build site. We're beginning to see increasingly evident indications that this location is getting ready for a ton of test activity in the very near future. It's becoming an integral part of Starbase. The remnants of Booster 6's explosive flight termination system test are gradually being removed. Shoo-shoo. Do you see that black structure by the white tanks? There's a high probability that this will become the booster quick disconnect arm for the brand new booster cryo station. Situated a little further down, a considerable amount of rebar has been put in place, and soon this entire structure is set to be filled with concrete, forming a robust base for the gigantic booster test stand. Upon completion, Booster 10 will likely have the honor of being the first to undergo testing on this stand. Go Booster 10! And do you see that oddly shaped stress cage? It's gradually being dismantled, clearing the NC-31 test article that had been destroyed there quite some time ago. Right alongside you can see the S-26.1 prototype, which after 3 cryogenic test tortures still hasn't concluded its test run. Finally, the foundations for additional tanks are close to being done. They will likely be a new home for the tanks located towards the back of Massey's. All of these developments could potentially signify a shift in testing operations. On June 2nd, a notice to airmen was released declaring an airspace closure from ground level up to 600 meters or 2,000 feet above Massey's from here on. While this announcement is unfortunately a dead end to drone flyovers, darn it, it could also suggest that we'll see more extensive pressure testing on site, as this NOTAM remains in effect until December 1st, 2023. What are your thoughts? Will the Massey's test site be used for more advanced testing, or maybe SpaceX just doesn't want people to take close-up pictures? Maybe it's something else entirely? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them, even though I sometimes don't have the time to reply. And while you're at it, leave us a like and a subscription if you like what we do. Consider becoming a supporter. You get access to behind-the-scenes content and much more. This way you provide a stable income for the entire team. A link to our Patreon page can be found in the description. Thank you so much for your support from the entire team. You rock. Alright, stay with me. Sometimes it even pays to be a supporter at Why. Magic! Once we were crazy enough to raffle out an actual YouTube play button. I had to, what can I say? This time we're raffling out a brand new 420 shirt for one of our new Twitter subscribers. Here they are, and this is the lucky winner. I'll contact you through Twitter. Keep your DMs open. If you want to be a part of the next raffle at 100 members, subscribe to @FelixSchlang on Twitter. Alright, now do you remember the whole Psyche mission fiasco? If the specifics elude you, allow me to jog your memory, given that this extremely important mission was on the verge of being cancelled altogether. Psyche the mission is a space probe designed to study an asteroid which conveniently is also named Psyche. Psyche the asteroid, on the other hand, is a true heavyweight champion, boasting a diameter of 226 kilometers or 140 miles, which equates to roughly 1/16 the diameter of our moon. We're talking planet killer category here. What you should be most interested about this asteroid, besides its Hollywood movie size, is its potential to be a partial core of a shattered planetesimal. A celestial body that might be a building block of terrestrial planets. This potato-shaped metal ball is thought to be composed mostly of iron, nickel, and a gold core, making it potentially a perfect candidate for asteroid mining. Sweet! Should this oddly formed asteroid indeed prove to be a planetesimal, it could grant scientists valuable insights into what lies beneath the myriad layers of our own planet, Earth. To achieve this, Psyche will use off-the-shelf components, allowing it to study its topography, gravity, magnetism, and other characteristics without spending billions of dollars on research and development. Smart! Now, the original launch window for this mission was July 2022. Nope, it hasn't launched yet. Unfortunately, a combination of software problems and staff shortages led to an indefinite postponement while the mission was reassessed. Finally, after the Jet Propulsion Laboratory reassigned personnel from the Veritas mission, a project focused on studying Venus, to the Psyche mission, work has accelerated at a pace where the mission has been revived. Now, the launch is anticipated no earlier than October 5th on board one of the most adorable rockets of all time, mighty Falcon Heavy. While it's heartening that this mission has secured a new launch date, there is a cost to this delay. Had the mission launched as originally scheduled in 2022, the spacecraft would have been expected to reach Psyche by January 2026. With a shift in the launch window, however, Psyche now has to take a different and slower course, delaying its arrival until the end of 2029, a postponement of almost 4 years. Despite this setback, this mission will achieve some incredible things, and I am eagerly looking forward to witnessing its launch and its findings in 2029. And while Psyche was getting delayed, another mission encountered exactly 0 problems. Shenzhou 16. 3 brave space travelers were propelled into space aboard the Long March 2F rocket on May 30th. This launch was historically even more significant for China as it included the country's first civilian astronaut. And where'd they travel to? Tiangong Station, the Heavenly Palace. Having spent just under 700 days in orbit, the Chinese space station has already hosted 5 crewed and 5 cargo missions. It is composed of 3 modules, the core module named Tianhe, along with the laboratory modules Wentian and Mengtian. There are future plans for the station to accommodate a temporary 4th module, Juntian. A space telescope. It's planned to have a field of view that is 350 times larger than Hubble's. Interestingly, it will maintain a slightly different orbital phase, meaning it will dock to the station periodically. Did you know that just as we distinguish between astronauts and cosmonauts, there is a unique term for space travelers launching from China? They are referred to as taikonauts. Upon the Shenzhou 16 crew's arrival at the station, they were welcomed by the crew of Shenzhou 15. After their 186-day-long stay, the Shenzhou 15 crew undocked their capsule and made a safe return back down. Interestingly, while both the crews were still on board, they helped to set a new world record. With the docking of Shenzhou 16 at the station, there were temporarily 17 people in orbit. 3 from Shenzhou 15, 3 from Shenzhou 16, 4 from Axiom 2, 3 from Soyuz MS-22, and finally 4 from Crew 6. This figure surpasses the previous record of 14. The rapid evolution of the Chinese space program is setting records. It's been only 20 years since they sent their first human into space, and they now operate a fully fledged space station. The question that lingers now is, who will be the first to set foot on the moon again? Since we can't answer this question just yet, for now let's focus on cargo lunar launches instead. An example of this is the planned maiden launch of the Vulcan Centaur rocket, which has been facing its fair share of obstacles. Initially, there were setbacks in the delivery of the 2 BE-4 engines from none other than Blue Origin itself. You might remember the "Where are my engines, Jeff" memes. Following a series of successful fueling trials, an unforeseen event led to an indefinite delay of the mission. In March 2023, during testing at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, a leak occurred in the rocket's second stage Centaur 5, resulting in an impressive explosion. Though this incident didn't involve the rocket undergoing tests in Florida, the United Launch Alliance still needed to pinpoint the root of the problem, thus postponing the launch. By the end of May, Vulcan Centaur was being prepared for its 6-second static fire. However, an issue in the booster engine ignition system was discovered, prompting engineers to return the rocket to the Vertical Integration Facility, or VIF. On June 6th, Vulcan did another stroll back to the Slick 41 launch pad with hopes of successfully completing the test firing this time around. If all goes as planned, the rocket will return once again to be mated with its payload, and after additional tests, it will be set for its journey to the moon. Yes, you heard it right. Vulcan's first flight is going to the moon. During its inaugural flight, the Vulcan Centaur will carry Astrobotic's Peregrine lunar lander designed for the commercial Lunar Payload Services program, in addition to 2 Kuiper satellites, which are Amazon's response to SpaceX's Starlink. That's it for today. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome content. Check out our epic new shirt in your favorite Space Nerd store. Link is in the description. And if you want to get even smarter about space and rockets, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. My name is Felix, and I am your head cold host. Starship updates. Oh, it's the Mark 1 prototype. Mork. Vanished. Mork.